Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're in the backyard and we're going to be planting up 3 AquaPots. Now we have converted these AquaPots from being the self-watering containers to instead utilizing drip irrigation with them. It's just easier for us in this backyard to do that. And so the 3 pots that we're going to plant up, all 3 of them actually have some plants in them. We're going to essentially just refresh them, fixing up the soil to make it raised back up again, and then adding some new plants in and zhuzhing them up a bit. So let's get started with the pot right behind me. Okay, so first, before we get started with this pot right here, I'm gonna just kind of give you a little overview of this area. As you can see, I've got some cans here of some things that I'm planning on planting up here. We have this leaf fountain. We're kind of reworking this space. I'll put a picture on the screen of what this looked like last year. About this time, sadly, most of the plants that were in here died. As you can see, all of the crotons, all of the begonias, and some of the ferns died. So we are retooling this, filling it back in. That will be in a later project. We've got some impatiens right here. And then we have this bear's breeches that I recently planted that is a variegated bear's breeches. But again, all of this is going to be retooled a bit in a future video, so stay tuned for that. Today's project is this pot here. So let's take out what we're actually going to be putting in the pot, and that way you can see what is already here, which is a spider plant. There is a little bit left, but not much, of a neon pothos. It's kind of just gotten swallowed up and a little bit rotted looking. And then we have a anthurium that needs to kind of get trimmed up and looking better. But as you can see, the dirt line has really sunk. So we're going to pull everything out of here. And then what we're going to add is this big, beautiful blue star fern here that I purchased at Cobata Growers. I was using it as a house plant, but it is not happy in this little teeny pot. You can see it just continuously dries out very quickly, and there is a bunch of new growth on it, so it's going to be way happier in this pot. Then next is this absolutely gorgeous escargot begonia. So it's a Rex begonia that's called escargot, and that is because of the way that the leaf spirals here like a snail, and it gets about 8 inches tall and wide. Shady location outdoors or medium to low light indoors. Water when the soil surface is lightly dry to the touch. So all of these are going to be very similar water requirements. Nothing really wants to be heavy watered. They're all, similar in their tropical plant nature. And then our next plant is this begonia right here. And I don't know if it has a tag. I'm not seeing one, but I loved the glossy kind of almost chartreuse-ish, but green leaves, and then this really pretty kind of pom-pom looking flower, and it matches perfectly with the pink of this anthurium right here. See, that's a crummy leaf we got to take off. Oh, you can kind of see here, let me try and give you a better view, but this pink of the anthurium and that begonia just match absolutely perfectly. It's going to be so pretty. So let's get this going. We've got 3 of these begonias, 1 of the Rex and 1 of the blue star fern. and we're gonna throw it all in this pot. So let's get started. And so here is our container. I think it looks really beautiful. That blue star fern is gonna get much happier and fill in all of this space right here. So you'll have a bigger show of that. It looks so nice with this escargot begonia. I love the coloration there. And then we have our pink anthurium right here that, look at how perfectly those two match. That'll get happier and have some more flowers popping up kind of in this general area. So we'll have some pink more up top. And then our little pom-pom begonias are just gonna trail over. I did add some of the baby spider plant right in there. And that is so it roots, and then we get a nice plant like this really draping around the whole front. I left on the little babies that are on this plant and this plant just because I think it adds just a little bit of dimension and an interesting nature to the container. But that is what it looks like, and I think it looks really great. Can't wait for it to fill in even more. Alrighty, so this is our second container that we're gonna work on. Again, this bed is in progress. You can see I have some cans in here. We have some ferns coming back. This is a relatively sad looking right now, but it will come back. Japanese painted fern. We have some maidenhair ferns. I'm not sure what hosta this is, but we have a hosta in here. 3 orange clivia, some Jack of Diamonds Brunnera here. We have, I think 5 plants are in here. And then some more Japanese painted ferns. This is an Albutilon. It is the Thompsoni variety. So it's got these really pretty variegated leaves. And then this peachy orange lantern that's pretty. Our camellia right here is not looking very happy. Got to figure out what's going on with her. Got a big Scheffalera in here. King Palm is what is shading this whole area. And then some variegated ginger. So ultimately, we're gonna have a lot of ground cover in this area and a lot of ferns, just kind of filling this in. This is our weeping snow fountains cherry that we planted earlier in the year. I still have to pick up my cans from doing that pot right there, but that kind of gives you an idea of where we are in the yard. So behind me are the French doors, and so we've kind of got these pots staggered around so you can kind of see them together. So we're going to want to make sure that they kind of tie in a little bit. So with that, our color palette in the backyard is purples, pinks, greens, and oranges. So I've got this Sunpatien that is a lavender color. We have Dichondra Silver Falls that we're going to add in here. This is called Amethyst Mist Heuchera. Really pretty purpley color that I love. And then what is in our container currently, which is a maidenhair fern and then a teeny tiny regal shield alocasia. So I'm going to pull everything out because, again, the soil level here has dropped drastically, and I'm going to fish out this alocasia and try and get it to where it's going to be a little bit happier and not being taken over as much by the fern here. And then we'll put in all the other plants that I just showed you. Alrighty, so here is our second container. Again, it looks beautiful. I can't wait for this Dichondra Silver Falls to get nice and big and bushy, which it will absolutely do that very soon, because I love the color combination between this icy blue and this purple of the Heuchera. It is one of my favorite combos in plants to have those two colors. Love having the lavender Sunpatien in here. And again, I probably should have mentioned with both containers, this container as well as the other gets a good bit of morning sun, especially on this side of this container and again on the left-hand side of the other container, which is why I placed the more sun-loving plants like this and those kind of pom-pommy looking begonias on the left-hand side of each container. I need to clean up that ginger because it looks bad, but I will do that in a minute. I did tuck the regal, I I think it's Regal Shield, Black Shield, something like that. Alocasia back in here. We'll see how it does. It should be a really large, relatively large alocasia. So it might get popped out and put into the landscape. I have one in the landscape already. But overall, loving this mix. And on to our third and final container. Okay, so here is our third and final container. We have in this area a variegated Schefflera right back here. This really large Xanadu philodendron, which it and its sister are probably going to get taken out at some point, but not just yet. Triple trunk king palm. And then as we pan over to here, you can see this area that's in full sun. It is our work in progress area. Kind of looks like a disaster. So we're gonna not really look at that all too much, other than to say these containers that have Sunpatiens in them next to our Buddha fountain are looking amazing, which is why we have been adding Sunpatiens into this area. It needs more drip because for whatever reason, this soil just does not retain moisture the way that it needs to. But the two containers flanking each side of the Buddha fountain look amazing. We have some Sedona Sunset Coleus right in here. And as you can see, if I pan this direction, I'm going to be working on adding some more in over here, as well as some more in over in this general area so that we kind of have a big sweeping drift. Gardens are a work in progress, so yeah, this is just one of our work in progress areas. Pugster Blue Buddleia is that plant right there. It's been in the ground for about a year, looking amazing. The Dichondra Silver Falls right here is supposed to go all the way across this bed and really kind of fill in as a ground cover because it is the perfect color with this kind of greeny blue that's in the Buddha. The rest of it is kind of what it is as far as plants go. The Sunpatiens hopefully will fill in, but I think the things that I love the most in this area right now, just as a total like aside, are the butterfly bush, or the Buddleia, otherwise known as butterfly bush. I love the Sedona Sunsets back here, which we do have to pull them in the fall because it does get just cold enough to nip them, but that's fine. Pull them, put them under grow lights in kind of a greenhouse situation, and then we pop them back in, and ultimately they do really well. I do love the containers here. I wish that the purple was actually doing the main show-stopping event here rather than the pink. I think that would look overall better in terms of color. But from my recollection, when I planted these last year in the summer, this is actually a compact variety of Sunpatiens. It's called Compact Purple. And then this pink is obviously not compact. But these were really small. I had one of the pink, one of the purple. I had a sparkling amethyst superbena. I had a purple angelonia, and then I had these pretty orange flowers in there so that I, again, had the pink, purple, orange thing going on, and a Sedona Sunset Coleus, which both of them did winter over in the pots here. But they're kind of not looking all that great. They're pretty small and they've got a lot of green on them, which I don't love. So I'm just going to leave them because why not? But yeah, so that's that area. So if we pan back this way, this is the spot where our container is. So container's right there. We have a fountain back there that's just a boulder, that's a bubbler. It obviously needs to come forward, which it will at some point. Whole bunch of asparagus fern. So yeah, this kind of whole general side all this way all the way over to our other container right there. This is all kind of work in progress area. It looks pretty, but there's still, it could look better. So with that, our container. So currently in here, we have a wire vine, which as you can see is doing very, very well. We have a black Mondo Grass, which is doing fairly well. We've got a cupcake, or not cupcakes, we've got a teacups, coffee cups, Alocasia from Proven Winners, and I bought this last year. It is pretty darn wimpy. It's supposed to be probably about yay tall at least. It's like, I think it's like a 3 to 4 footer tall and wide. So I was hoping that it would really, really fill in this container, and I liked the fact that the stems mimicked the Mondo Grass, but it's kind of limping along. So we're gonna leave it. Again, we're generally going to kind of leave these containers be in terms of these plants. We're just gonna add a couple more things in and then see what they do. So with that, we are going to keep on with our Sedona Sunset theming in this area. That way the drift kind of continues up into a container. It is the Color Blaze Sedona Sunset by Proven Winners, 24 to 40 inches tall, and it gets about 24 inches wide, so it will be nice in this container. It's gonna go basically like that. I have this fern. It is called a Heart's Tongue Fern is the common name. You can see the Latin name on there. Evergreen fern with creeping rhizomes. Fronds are strap shaped, shiny, leathery, bright green. Needs partial shade to dappled sun, and this area gets exactly that. So that is what she looks like here. Very cool. Gonna get pops like that. And we're gonna do our best to probably make sure that our little coffee cups here has enough room and sun and all of that to start to do its thing. But we're also gonna add in another of these Sunpatiens lavender. That way we're kind of keeping everything consistent here. And I love this lavender color. It's kind of a lavendery pink. And so she'll go in there as well. And the reason that I picked the purple, aside from the fact that I like purple and we have a lot of purple in the yard, is when you have these Sedona sunsets in a more shaded location, you can see all of the purple that it takes on. And that is my favorite part of these Sedona sunsets, is that. I did a set of containers with these for fall, which I will try and find a picture and throw that on the screen. That was like magenta, purple, orange, and it was just gorgeous. Probably one of my favorite container sets that I've ever done. So we're gonna try and keep on that theming and color variation because it's just, I just love it. So now that you have seen all of that, we're gonna do the exact same thing that we did in the other two. Plant these guys up. Alrighty, so here is our third and final container for the day. It is looking semi-rough right now, but trust me, this wire vine is going to just continue to bush out. Our little Sunpatien here is going to get nice sized. You saw what they can look like in the other containers. Our fern here is nice and tucked away and looking very pretty. We might end up switching these depending upon how large this gets, and that'll be fine. Our coffee cups are right here, and then we have our Sedona Sunset. So I am thinking it's going to be a really pretty mix come a couple of months here, maybe even just a week or so, a couple weeks or so. Everything's going to really get going. But I like the color combo, just needs to put on a little bit of growth. And it looks really nice with the greenery that's back here. And again, as we pan and kind of shift over this direction where you can kind of see that continuation of color, it's going to be really nice. Alrighty, so that is going to do it for today's video. I am going to finish watering in this container and the other off camera. Just need to pull the hose around and it becomes a whole thing. Need to get a hose link back here that is on the hit parade because they're just so much easier than lugging a hose around. But anyways, as that's again, another side note, another tangent that we went on in this video. But I hope that you enjoyed watching me kind of refresh these containers. Hope that you enjoy kind of a little peek at what the garden looks like right now and kind of how we have things set up currently, so that you kind of have an idea of where we're moving in future projects. So stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.